If it ever comes to hand-to-hand fighting on Taiwan, the Chinese nationalists intend to be ready for it. Every man in Chiang Kai Shek's 600,000 strong armed forces is required to undergo this training. National service lasts 2 years in the army, 3 in the Navy and Air Force. In theory, troops are preparing to reconquer the mainland. They're urged to remember the spirit of Chu, a city in ancient China which refused to admit defeat. In practice, they're waiting for a long-threatened Chinese communist invasion. The American influence on Chiang Kai Shek's army is obvious enough in the fancy rifle drill performed by the Marine Corps. It's estimated that in the 20 years from 1950, the United States gave the Taiwan government more than $3,000 million of military assistance. But it has drastically reduced its own military presence on the island. There are now less than 9,000 American servicemen here, the majority engaged in air supply operations to Vietnam and Thailand. No combat troops have been here for a decade, but America does have a defense treaty commitment to come to Chiang Kai Shek's aid if Taiwan were attacked, and there's a 200-strong American planning group here to prepare for that contingency. The communists on the mainland have demanded that all American troops be withdrawn. The main dispute between the United States and China, says Premier Zhou Enlai, is the imperialist occupation of Taiwan. What most sticks in the communist gullet is the nationalist occupation of Quemoy and Matsu, small island groups insolently close to the Chinese mainland. Quemoy, or Kinmen as the nationalists call it, was invaded in 1949, soon after Chiang Kai Shek abandoned the mainland. The attack was repulsed, and since then the island has been heavily fortified with beach defences and underground bunkers. Gaily coloured balloons carry the free world's message to the communist mainland. Small balloons like these are intended to encourage those who live in the coastal areas to defect to the nationalist side. Larger models carry gifts of food and clothing further inland. It's a two-way traffic, for the communists reply in kind, sometimes using kites to carry their messages. And just in case anyone on the other side doesn't get the message, powerful loudspeakers blare propaganda at each other across 1.5 miles of water. From a studio 30 feet underground, a team of girls plays records interspersed with carefully selected news items and rude comments about Chairman Mao Zedong. Since the fearful artillery barrage of 1958, in which the communists fired nearly 500,000 rounds at the island, Quemoy has been rebuilt, though every house now has an underground shelter. Today, the only shells fired, by tacit agreement on odd days of the month only, contain propaganda leaflets. But the nationalists are very conscious that their defense treaty with America, to which President Nixon has just reaffirmed his commitment, does not cover Quemoy and Matsu. The American naval patrol in the Taiwan Straits ended in 1969. In the new context of America's contacts with Peking, just how far does its support of nationalist China now go?
Will the Chinese communists be able to persuade Mr. Nixon to pull out the remainder of his American troops on Taiwan? If he does so, will the Chinese communists invade the island? If so, will Chiang Kai Shek be able to handle it on his own? And with the American presence once gone, will American public opinion ever allow the American president to send back those troops to fulfill his defense treaty commitments? These are the questions that Mao Zedong, Chiang Kai Shek and Mr. Nixon must be pondering. Richard Lindley, News at 10, Taiwan.